So the channel we're looking at today is Athos Outdoor Prospector, and the video we're looking at is Survival Earth Lodge House, Bushcraft Pit Warm House, the best of all natural shelters. This is a bit of a mouthful, but let's get into this video and check it out. Alright, straight into it. Looks interesting. Lots of resources there. I mean, you look at all those leaves he's got available to him, plus all that timber. Doesn't have like massive big logs. You can't build what you don't have. So you've got to use the resources you've got. So a bit of clay there. He might do well to build a kiln and do some pottery. It's a lot of work with those small little hand tools he's got. Well, hungry already. He's been going for like, I don't know, a minute, not even that in the video, and he's already eating. Looks like a bit of pork belly and onions. Alright, I'm getting hungry. It's like 4 o'clock in the morning here and I haven't had breakfast. I've had a coffee, but no breakfast for me yet. So I don't really like watching videos with cooking when I haven't eaten. Simple meal. Just, yeah. So you wouldn't be able to do that in Australia because we get a lot of flies over here. So just leaving your food out like that, the flies would eat it, and then the birds would come in and steal it off you. Especially that meat. I do like with this video that he doesn't just show like that whole wall like I've watched other videos, and that whole roof part that he's just put in there. He would show that whole thing, like each rail that he's putting in there all the way along. I like that he only put a couple in there and then he cut to a different camera angle just to keep the audience engaged. Like that. He's just, oof. So yeah, he's putting the work in, not just in building the shelter, but also in the camera work by constantly shifting the tripod around. Again, but showing you those different angles, just to keep you engaged. So I like that. Instead of just locking the camera off in one spot and just showing you an extended take of putting in lots of posts. You don't need to see that many. Pulling out all the tools here. He went from using like a carpenter's saw to then using a bow saw and using cordage. Now he's using natural material like natural vine. So it's half primitive, half not primitive. Yep, definitely make use of all that leaf matter. I just mounted all that up on top after I sealed the roof. Whoop, almost made the blooper reel. Yeah, so those leaves are going to rot down over time and turn into soil. And as they rot down, they're going to break down, they're going to get smaller. So he didn't put anything over the main roof, but then in this piece he's putting in plastic. So you got plastic there, but the main roof is going to have water dripping through it, I would imagine. You can pack this clay down really hard and even wet it and pack it down hard, but then as the leaf matter underneath it slowly breaks down and turns itself into soil, as it does naturally, it will slowly break down and decompose. It's going to reduce in size, and then that clay on top is going to have to give, and it's going to crack. And all those cracks then are going to get water run between them, and it's going to help erode it away more. So you're going to get water coming through it eventually, depending on how long you want this shelter to sit there for. He put that plastic, I don't know why, or maybe he's done that as a light, so light will come in through that part of it, I don't know. It'll work. I hate working with clay. Like it just sucks. Like it sticks to your tools as you're using them, and then it sticks to your boots. You end up with this massive big boots full of clay. You're slipping around on everywhere. It gets on everything and gets into everything. If you're using your saw out there, then you're folding saw and you fold your saw up and you end up getting clay inside your saw. You got to hose it out later, and it's just good for making pottery, but actually working with a shelter, it just sucks. I'm just putting it out there because I've just gone through like months of rain here, and I've been building shelters, and I'm just sick of mud and clay. So that's where that's coming from. Not big meals. Like I would devour that like seconds. It'd be gone. Almost look like baked potatoes. It's an interesting method. Did he put it? I was too busy talking to actually pay attention, but did he put a rock inside that? Yeah, interesting. Tight squeeze, but helps keep the warmth in it more if you keep your opening small. Yeah, I got no birch in my area. I've said that before. That yeah. So the only problem with a small shelter, when you're doing these small shelters, it's practical. You don't use as much material, and it keeps the warmth in because you've got a smaller area inside. But for a YouTuber, yeah, it's more challenging, especially this because there's no windows that you can stick a camera outside to film through. But it's more challenging because you can't get your camera back far enough to get your wide shots inside. It's just everything is small. I mean, you could probably set up in the doorway if he's at the far end of the shelter, and I suppose with the pitch of that roof, your water's going to shed off without resting too long on the clay and softening it up. So, but yeah, I would definitely say you'd have to revisit this a few times as it dries, because as the clay dries, it's going to shrink, and as it shrinks, it's going to crack. Because you imagine that massive big slab of the roof, as it shrinks, that whole slab has got to move, and it's got a lot of weight in it, and it can't drag that amount of weight. It'll make stress cracks because it'll only be able to pull a section that big, but the roof's like that big. So where all those cracks are, you have to just go back through it and put clay in it. And now you get a guy on a motorbike comes through and uses a ramp, goes through your roof. So he has used that plastic to make skylight, to make lighting into the shelter, which is pretty smart. You're going to lose a lot of heat out of it, but looks like the rain is imminent. It's an interesting design. It's pretty cool looking. He's getting more advanced with this rather than just shaking it up and down. He's now using the old stomp method. See, I was never that smart. I always just went with my hands and just like mashed it. I was mixing sand with the clay that I had in my area, just to try to help it as it dries. The sand sort of holds it together more, so you don't get as many cracks. He's got a gold pan there too. I wonder if there's gold in the area. Suppose that's part of his title, Athos Outdoor Prospector. So maybe he does a bit of gold prospecting on his channel. It's all well and good, but everything is wet. I'd like to see this a month later. I dare say all that's going to crack over time. He get himself some chopsticks. Imagine that would be pretty smoky, because you've basically just created a chimney right there. So yeah, you've got the chimney in the fireplace, but when you first lit it up, I imagine there'd be a heap of smoke coming out through that hole. where that pot is. He likes his pork belly and bacon. Damn, it's making me hungry. Yeah, it would have been good to see it a wider shot of the inside. Using a filming light and a wide angle camera, like a GoPro, so you could see what it looked like. A bit of music, still shots. But you can't really see in there. Alright, so it's going to continue. There's a teaser for you. So you're going to have to check his channel out if you want to see the continuation of this. Alright, my main criticism of it, which I didn't say during the video, but the main criticism of reflecting on it is the entrance to the shelter itself. You've got this shelter you've dug into the ground and it's in clay, so water doesn't go through clay. So if water gets into that shelter, it's not going to go anywhere. It's just going to sit there. It's not going to soak into the ground at all. It's just going to be held in. It's just like a dam that you've made with the clay base. That's all good, but then you've dug this big slope, big incline down into the shelter, all made of clay as well. So any rain, there's nothing over that entrance into the shelter. So any rain that falls is going to land on that incline and run straight down into your shelter with no way of getting out of the shelter. The only solution you've got is to build a roof over the top of that. I like the fact that this is a pretty stealthy looking shelter. You throw leaves over the top of it because it's so low to the ground. It's not going to be visible from a great distance in amongst all those trees. It's really going to blend in. So yeah, it's pretty stealthy like that. I wonder how that roof's going to hold up. It'll be alright short term, but over time it is going to crack. You're going to have to put more clay into it, that's no big drama. I didn't see a bed area. Maybe he showed it and I was too busy talking to notice, but I didn't see where he had a great little fireplace in there. I don't know how much smoke's going to come out through that hole that he put in it, where he's putting his pot over it, and where he had a little tiny grill that he could grill stuff on. Yeah, as that heats up, that metal's going to heat up and spread that heat through that clay, which will cause cracking more. I haven't seen any of his other videos, and if I have, I don't know that I have, but I only showed parts of his video in this one, just to be fair to the creator. I don't want to just run their whole video through. If you want to see his entire video, I'll put the link in the video description. Yeah, if you have seen more of his stuff, let me know in the comment what you think of him. If there's any other channels that you guys like, drop it in the comments. Tell me who you want me to review next. Till next time, catch you in the next one.